Greetings everyone, my name is Dr. Jason Freeman and I'd like to welcome y'all to my channel. In this video I answer the question, do the Americans have a chance to beat England in the 2022 World Cup? Now at any point feel free to click the notification bell or subscribe to my channel to get more content. So without further ado, let's begin. So as of the making of this video, the US has faced England twice in the World Cup, and in both cases, England was the clear favorite. And this year is no different. The betting odds are clearly in favor of England to beat US handily. Also, having just watched the match between England and Iran, as well as the match between US and Wales, England handled Iran pretty easily, and the US struggled in the second half against Wales, ending in a 1-1 tie. However, there is a precedent for a US upset over England, even when the odds are totally in the favor of England. In their first meeting in the World Cup, the US beat England 1-0 when the Haitian-born Joseph Getjens scored the only goal of the match. One interesting fact about Getjens is that he actually was never became a citizen of the United States. Rather, he declared his intention for citizenship, but never went through with it. But the rules of the time allowed for anyone who essentially declared, or at least on the U.S. side, declared intention to become a U.S. citizen, they could in fact play for the team. Now, 60 years later, in the 2010 World Cup, the U.S. and England ended their match in a 1-1 draw, where Clint Dempsey, a forward who played for Fulham in the English Premier League, scored the game-tying goal. Now, Tim Howard, the goalie for the U.S., also came up huge in the match. At the time, he was playing for Everton, also in the Premier League, and he came up with a lot of game-saving stops. So it wouldn't be without precedent for the U.S. to upset England in the World Cup. In fact, that's what's happened previously. So that brings me to answering my question, do I think the U.S. has a chance to beat England in the World Cup? And my answer is yes, for several reasons. So first of all the best players for the U.S. are healthy right now. Christian Pulisic, Weston McKennie, and Gio Reyna are all healthy enough to play right now. Also, England has some injury issues. Right backs Reece James and Ben Chilwell are both injured and out for England at this point, which makes them vulnerable at that position. Now, the second reason the U.S. has a chance to beat England in this World Cup in 2022 is because all of our best players currently play in Europe. Now, while I'll always be grateful for what the MLS has allowed the U.S. to do in regards to developing players, I never again want to see a U.S. World Cup roster with a majority of players coming from the MLS. The best players in football go to Europe to play, in the same way that the best basketball players in the world come to the NBA. And so if you want the players like Pulisic, like McKennie, like Gio Reyna to become the best they can be, they have to face the top level talent. And that talent is in Europe right now. So again, while the MLS has really helped the U.S. team over the years develop players like Tim Howard, he really blossomed when he went over to play in the Premier League in Europe. Now, the third reason I think the U.S. has a chance to beat England is because England has a lot of pressure on them this year. And so England last won the World Cup in 1966 in England. And so every year they're always predicted to potentially win. And so one way that can really kind of show that they're ready to win this year's World Cup is to beat a team that's ranked, in the top 20 in the world, a team that has won its region multiple times, and that team would be the U.S. Now, if the U.S. hangs in the match going into, say, the 80th minute or so, really towards the end of the game, that'll put a lot of pressure on England to try to close them out, especially with the amount of talent that they have. And so if, again, it's a 1-0 match, if it's 0-0, with U.S. and England being tied, I think there's a good chance that the U.S. could either hold on to that tie at the very end or catch England on the counterattack and maybe possibly even win the match. The other issue is that what we've seen previously, maybe not so much this year with Iran, but what we've seen previously for England is that once they have that lead, they tend to sit on it. So whether it be 1-0 or 2-0, they sit on that lead. That really always leaves an opening for a team that can score. And so if the U.S. can come up with a late goal or maybe 2 late goals, with them kind of pressing at the end of the match, they always have a chance to either win the match or end the match in a tie against England. And lastly, there's the issue of temperature. So the reason that they're playing the World Cup this late into the year is because of the heat of the Qatar summer. So in the summer, the heat in Qatar can reach at least 100 degrees or more on an average day. And so moving it to this time of year, while it's not going to reach those type of temperatures, typically it can still get pretty warm out there. Now, historically, European teams have not done well with the heat, which as a result has led to a lot of European teams not doing as well outside of Europe when it comes to the World Cup. If England does not blow out the U.S., say 3-4-0 in the beginning of the first half, if the U.S. is allowed to hang back towards the end of the match, there's always a chance that some of the England players could get a little bit winded. I mean, of course, they will have substitutes, but there's a chance that some of the better players could get wore out by the U.S. defense, which is going to be a lot tougher than the defense of Iran. Now, if that happens again, I'm not saying it will happen, but the U.S. will have a chance to maybe hold out for a draw at the very end, or, if they get lucky a couple times, even possibly a win. So, do I think the U.S. will beat England in the World Cup? Absolutely not. So I just watched, again, earlier I watched the England dismantle Iran. The U.S. is better than Iran. We should get the win against them, especially if we play like we did against Wales. But the fact of the matter is England is a stacked side. When they like Reem, he did fine in this match. But the fact of the matter is he's not going to be able to hang with some of those players against some of those quick players against them on the English side. And of course, the other thing to worry about, which is a big thing to worry about, is Harry Kane. I think he's 2 goals away from kind of getting a record of some sort. And so, yeah, and he won the Golden Boot in the last World Cup in Russia. So, yeah, he's going to be a problem. I am worried about Harry Kane a lot. Obviously, there's a lot of good players on this team, but he is chomping at the bit. He's ready to score. And so I really think that he's going to be a really dangerous player, especially because one of the issues with the U.S. team is our height. I feel like some of those big players, especially like someone like Harry Kane, is going to be able to take advantage of our height deficiencies and will, come over the top and get some headers over us in the next match. And of course, I will say, go ahead and make a prediction. I don't think England will win the World Cup, but I think they're going to get dang close. I think they're going to make a run. They'll make it out of this group. I think they'll make it past around the 16. And then once you get past there, they have a pretty, from my view, a pretty stacked team. Now, I haven't seen some of the other teams from the world. I'll see those over the next couple of days. But I think they'll have a chance to finish pretty well in this tournament. Now, will they win it all? Again, I don't think they will. I think there's too many good teams. I'm not picking Argentina. People always got to put the Argentina there, and they're not going to do it. I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. That being said, I really think I think England will go deep, and I do think they'll beat the U.S. In the next match. Now, if you found any of this interesting or informative, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. Also, please share this video. Also, please leave a comment in the comment section below giving your prediction for what the score will be in the U.S. versus England match. Thank you all for your time and have a wonderful rest of your day.